Hey everybody, I am jumping on here today to talk a little bit more what it looks like working with a realtor when you are renting, or even if you're not working with a realtor when you're renting, but what it looks like to get into a rental. I am going to leave in the description just some fun, easy points of what I would need from you if you were to use me as your realtor when we're renting. And other than that, I'm going to get into the nitty gritty. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Kristen Pomeroy. I am a realtor in the Greater Bay Area, Houston, and I actually pin my service areas for anyone interested on my Facebook and on my Instagram at the very, very top there. So if you're curious, hey, can she work for me? That's where I would recommend going, and I'll tag my business Facebook page and Instagram on my description as well. So let's get into it. First, I would talk about application fees. So there usually is an application fee, and that's literally just turned in with your application. Depending on if you have a landlord or a property manager, both should be charging a small application fee. That can be anywhere from, I mean, I've seen them as low as $10, but it just depends on the price of the house, usually in the area you're working in, but 10 all the way to $50, let's say. So they set that price. There's no standard price, there's no rule, there's no law. They set that price for accepting your application and taking a look at it. The application can range also depending on the person renting out the house. So there is a TREC, or Texas Real Estate Commission, form that a lot of people do use when renting out a house for clients coming in, and it's very simple. I have that form available. It's something you can view online on trec.com, and that's TREC.com. And then it might not be .com. Don't quote me on that. It might be TREC something else, sorry. But yeah, so you can jump on there, very simple form. But they can also put together their own form, especially if they're a property manager business type setup. They'll probably have some sort of form that works best for their certain business to hand out to people to fill out. And then approval required. Some points I always talk about: credit. You have to have decent credit to rent a house, and the only reason that is it just shows the owner of that house or management company of that house that you know how to handle your money. You can pay things on time and in full. So yeah, I would say you need something obviously in the 500s or higher, preferably in the 600s or higher. Some landlords or property managers will do in the 500s, but they may charge you extra on either a security deposit, or they will add on to your monthly rent to make up for the fact that your credit isn't where it should be. I do also help all my clients with credit repairs. So I have tons of advice and ways you can follow, ways to build up your credit if you're wanting to do that first before applying to rent a house, or if you were wanting to work on your credit to get to the point of buying a house while you're renting. So keep that in mind. Please reach out if you have any questions about credit. Everyone that's 18 or up will need to fill out an application and apply. And that is just something that you'll see across the board, whether it's an apartment or a house, a condo, anything. If you are an adult, you have to be on the lease. It does not matter really about anything. I don't think I've never come across it where anyone folds or bends on that. So all the people considered, their credit's also being considered. So even 18-year-old, whoever that just graduated high school and has almost no credit or maybe no credit, they're going to take that into consideration. Sorry. Also, another thing to keep in mind is most landlords or property managers in Texas at least are going to say a maximum of 2 people per bedroom. I have had situations where I've had like a multifamily type situation where the grandparents lived with the kids and the kids had kids, and they were looking at like 5-6 bedroom houses, which happen. It's rare, but it happens. And so they were thinking, oh, we can take, 10 plus of us into, I think we were looking at one that they really loved that was 4-bedroom, but it had a study that they could make a nursery or whatnot. And of course I called the listing agent and I said, hey, I've got this family, they're pretty large and this is why. And I explained the situation and they said, sorry, I know that for a fact the landlord's not going to allow that many people per bedroom whatsoever, even with the added on space. So just something to keep in mind, that they can say that they're not going to accept you if there's too many per bedroom. Okay, and then rental history if you have any. So when they run it, they're going to send you a link, or they're going to tell you go to this website, it just depends per listing, and say, hey, we're going to run everything from credit to criminal background to everything, right? Rental would obviously pop up there, and if they see that you've had evictions or skipped out on rent and didn't pay the balance back or anything of that sort, sometimes they're just going to say, no, it's not even worth my effort to figure out if this person's worthy of renting this house. So just keep that in mind when you are renting. You got to play by the rules, right? And then criminal record. I've had landlords that I've listed their houses that they accept certain things on criminal records. It's really per case by case basis. But some will just say, even if you have the smallest little blip, they're not gonna accept you in that house. So keep that in mind as well. And then your income normally is gonna be 3 times the rent. So if you have a rent house listed for $1,500, they're gonna expect, well, that's a weird number to do because it's not easy to round, but if you have a rent house for $2,000, it's gonna be $6,000 of income coming in. Now, everybody 18 and older, they'll take that income into account. So it shouldn't be as tough for somebody, you know, that's got multiple people that are 18 and older working, living in the house with them. They're gonna look for employment. It's not gonna be as tough as applying for a house loan as far as how many years you've employed and yada yada so forth, but they may ask for paycheck stubs, they may ask for your tax returns. Both my husband and I run our own businesses, and tax returns do suffice for people like us, but we also have outstanding credit, we have no bad rental history, we have a great debt to income ratio, stuff like that. So it's really just, you gotta go down the checklist with whoever you're looking to rent with and make sure that it's okay with them. And then your security deposit, 9 times out of 10, your security deposit is going to be the same amount. So if you have that $2,000 list price of renting per month, they're going to ask for $2,000 on top of that before you move in. They'll accept your application with your application fee. Next step would say, I accept y'all checked out. Now I need the $4,000, which is split $2,000. That is going to be a security deposit that can be refunded unless otherwise stated. I think I've only had, in 5 years, I've only had like one house say that they don't refund their security deposit. So you really want to check that out as well, because it can happen. But security deposit would be returned if, when you move out, everything looks great. If not, they keep their security deposit to make those repairs. It also just shows to them that y'all are ready, you can move in, you're willing to play by the rules, you respect those rules, stuff like that. So it goes both ways. And then another one I always recommend to everybody is, whether it's required by that landlord or property manager or not, always get renter's insurance. It's going to cover, especially in Texas, if you're on the southern side like us near Galveston, it's going to cover a lot of things, and it's inexpensive, but it covers your property inside of the house and possibly some of it out. But if there's a flood or exponential rain or something and the roof leaks, you know, and it falls right on your TV, stuff like that, so you can make claims and make it easy, and there's no, you know, waiting on anybody else's insurance. It's just yours. So I highly recommend it. And some I haven't always seen it, but some landlords and some property managers do require it as well. So I just wanted to do a short, I know it's not super short, I'm starting to learn that maybe I'm not going to be able to keep these videos under 5 minutes, but a super short video explaining that. And just remember that you're going to want a landlord or property manager that is somewhat strict with the rules, because that means they care about their property, and which in turn they're going to care about y'all. Yes, it's tough when you're starting out, if you're starting out with renting, or you hit a bump in the road in your life and you're having to start over, but you know, you don't know where you want to end up buying, or your credit got ruined, or I've seen all sorts of stories. Just remember, the ones that cut corners and kind of say, oh, we'll let you get by with it, when you call and something's wrong, 9 times out of 10 they're not gonna care as much, because they didn't care when you signed up, if that makes sense. So it goes both ways, following the rules. And then I was gonna make a separate video about this, but it's very, very quick and short, so I will talk about it with y'all right now. If you're coming to me wanting to use my services as a realtor to rent a house, the main thing I'm always going to say is service areas. So I only service certain areas. I do work from home. I have 3 awesome kids. I homeschool them. They're with me all the time. They're part of my business plan. So I just always want to make sure, hey, you're in that service area with me. And if not, I have plenty of other realtors I work with in my brokerage that service all over Texas, and they can definitely help you out, and I highly recommend them. I always ask how many beds, and these are things you just want to think about, because people love to start searching. That's the fun part, right? Before they, check off all the boxes. So remember, think, how many beds do I need? How many baths do I need? Do I need a garage? Do I not need a garage? Because sometimes I'm find houses that don't have garages, especially when you're in the country. They have like a carport or something instead. Sorry about that. A wasp. And then if I do need a garage, how many parking spots do I need? What is your budget? So I always say live underneath your means. Of course, the $2,000 house is gonna be on the nicer end, but that $1,500 may save you tons and tons of money over the long run if you're trying to move on and buy your house. And then terms, how long do you want to rent for? Short term would be anything under a year. 1 year is pretty typical, and then you have long term, which could be anywhere from 18 months, 2 years, 3 years, so on and so forth. Usually I'll see 1 year, but I have seen 18 months, and then from there they go on a month-to-month basis, or they resign for another 18 months. So just keep that in mind. And then pets, again, a landlord or property manager has any right to say, I'm not going to accept you because you have pets. So or they may have a city or county or something that doesn't allow certain pets, believe it or not. So they may be just following those city or county rules of saying, hey, I can't have large breeded animals here, so you're going to have to find somewhere else. And they have every right to. I have a lot of people be like, how can they do that to me? How could they not want my dog or whatever? My dog's the sweetest. She's so old. She just lays around all day. They can, and they will. And also remember that the more strict they are, the better of a landlord they will be for you. That's my biggest thing that I tell people. So if they're following rules, that's the kind of landlord you want going into it. And I think that wraps everything up. I hope everybody has a great day. I hope this was informative and helpful. Sorry it was on the longer side. Next, I will be talking a little bit about if you use me as a realtor to list your rental property, which I've done. And then also, if it's a short video, because that's not too tough to talk about, I'll go into commercial leases. So check out my next video. Please share, like, comment, all the fun stuff that helps me, even if you're not looking, grow in my business. And just remember that Kristen holds the key. Have a great day. Bye.